Hey guys. So I just want to give a shout out to my friend Eliakim Cohen. I stole this from him. Eliakim, I stole this from you. What did I steal? Walk and talk. The only difference is I'm here in Gullis, so I'm sorry. I have a lot on my mind. I was watching these videos from on Instagram. There's a girl or a lady. I don't know if she's a relative of the little kids who got taken by Hamas, the little Bibas kids. But you know, she confronted this lady that works for the Red Cross. She made 2 videos confronting her. And basically the lady in the videos, and if you guys know anything about the Red Cross, the history of the Red Cross, this is nothing new for them, this kind of behavior, you know? Sorry, this lights are right on the street. Anyway. Basically, the woman, the Israeli lady, was like, you know, why aren't you posting pictures of the hostage kids, of the little kids? You're posting pictures of, you know, Arab kids, Palestinian kids, whatever it is, but you're not posting pictures of any Jewish kids, Israeli kids. And she's like, well, this isn't how this works, and blah, 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 blah. She's giving all this, like, you know, what we call procedural nuance and subtlety. We know the spiel, right? And you could see, like, the hatred on the woman's face. You could see it. You could just see it, you know? You know, we know that she knows. That we know, you know? You know? Everybody knows. She knows, we know. Everybody knows. And you know, it's interesting, guys. There are oh my God, what the heck is that? Some animal rustling in the bushes. Okay. I'm gonna keep walking. Keep on walking. It's the benefits of living in New Jersey. Anyway. So, anyway, guys. So I keep forgetting that this entire situation is a spiritual situation. This entire situation is a spiritual situation, guys. From top to bottom, you know? We think it's political, we think it's things we can do. We think it's military. I mean, it is military. It's playing out. It's a spiritual situation playing out on the military battlefield, but it's more spiritual than physical, guys. You know, and it's part of what's called the spiral of Jewish history. You know, how do we know that? Because, you know, I was watching Douglas Murray. He was debating who's that guy? Mehdi Hassan, this NBC fruitcake. And you know, of course, a bunch of people on YouTube made reaction videos. Oh, Mehdi Hassan destroys, what was it, hostile Zionist audience in Canada. Was it Toronto, I guess, wherever this was. And at the very end of the debate, Douglas Murray goes, you know, I gotta tell you guys something. despite all the slander we just heard on this stage and all that kind of stuff and the lies, and he was talking about how, these kids on campus, a lot of them don't really understand what they're doing, but the few of them that do are getting a kick out of this because, and he said, this is nothing new. Anti-Semitism is like a shapeshifter, right? Now it's coming in the form of anti-Zionism, because obviously it's not invoked to be anti-Semitic, even though in these protests we know all the old tropes are coming back and all have come back, as if they ever left, right? And at the very end, Douglas Murray said, what did he say? Guys, the Jews are going to outlive everybody here in this room. They've outlived the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Crusades, the Nazis. And then he goes, they're going to outlive this situation. They fought tougher wars than this. And they're going to outlive you, Mehdi Hassan. And the guy had nothing to say. The crazy part is that the guy sitting next to Mehdi Hassan, who was, because it was kind of like a 2-on-2 debate. The other guy was this guy Gideon Levy, this leftist Israeli, disgusting Erev of garbage, complete garbage, and he's debating against the Jewish woman, like on the pro-Israel side is a Jewish woman and a British man. Douglas Murray, a British gay man, is defending Israel, standing up for Israel. He's and talking about like the biblical stuff, the Bible, and how he's a Judeophile and an Israelophile. Amazing, my friends. I mean, this is positively amazing. Really. So, you watch a few things here and there and you start to realize that this is spiritual. Again, it's playing out in the political arena, You have this lady, Jean-Pierre or whatever her face is. She's like, no, what is Bibi talking about? Again, not that I'm a big fan of Bibi. He's got his own issues, but she's like, what is he talking about? We never delayed anything. And then Bibi comes out in public and mentions something, and next thing you know, the White House cancels a meeting. And then they delay F-15s. Basically, they told them, it's almost like they told them, you're crying, we'll give you something to cry about. But you know what? My friends, this is deeper than politics. And the crazy part is that people I don't think people really understand what's really going on. I don't think people understand what's really going on. I said before, this morning, you have all these countries that have they basically dominate entire continents, or all these nations, all these peoples, right? For example, like Spanish-speaking countries in South America, there's like 22 of them or 20 of them. Nobody says anything to them. How many Arab countries are there? 19? I counted 16 today. I made a list of 16. 8 of them, folks, 8 of them are originally what's called originally Arab, where Arabs are actually indigenous. And the other 8 were conquered by Arabs. Meaning they were, like North Africa was Berber or Amazigh peoples. I think Egypt was Copts, originally Coptic, right? And then you have, what else you have? And then you have, Lebanon was like Maronite, Syria was like Assyrian Kurd. There's another group Iraq, same thing. Basically, 8 of those countries are not Arab indigenous. They were colonized by the Arabs, folks, including Israel. Israel was also colonized by the Arabs. Any Arab that lives in Israel today is a colonizer, originally colonized. Where are they indigenous? What are they indigenous to? The Arab Peninsula. Any country you see in the Arab Peninsula, that's where the Arabs are from. And Kuwait. I'll give them that. And I actually said Jordan was originally Bedouin, but then, come to think of it, I was like, no, it's not. Jordan technically is part of Greater Israel. If you think about it, Lebanon is part of Greater Israel. If you want to go that far, if you want to go the Torah way, right? Parts of Syria are part of Greater Israel. Northern Saudi Arabia is part of Greater Israel. Even Iraq, Western Iraq is part of Greater Israel, folks. So, here we are. We want to have one Jewish tiny little sliver country, and the world doesn't want it. My friends, if everything is that I just described to you is true, which it is, that everybody can have their nation states, either ethno-states or entire continents where everybody speaks the same language, except for South America, everybody speaks the same language except for Brazil, right? They speak Portuguese. Or, and even then that's like a Latin language. Or you have one group of people, nation of people that have 19 countries to themselves, and half of them they conquered, right? And the other half they just keep, are completely empty and full of oil. Folks, and then the Jews can't have their own country because what? Because we were attacked and we're the bad guys. Folks, this is something spiritual. If it's not adding up logically, then it must be spiritual. Think about it. Our sages told us what would be before Mashiach's arrival. They told us it would be the Galut of Ishmael, where Ishmael would dominate the world, and not only dominate the world physically or financially, but dominate the consciousness of the world, captivate the world, to where the world is yeah, free this, free that, free Palestine. They can't listen. They can't even listen, folks. No matter how much hasbara you do, or advocacy you do, you notice you're it's almost like you're talking to walls, right? Go talk to that Red Cross lady. Go check out her video. Go talk to a wall. Go bang your head against the wall. Go to the kotel. You might as well go, bang your head against the kotel. Be more effective. Folks, it's spiritual. It's a spiritual battle. And if you're wondering why it's never been worse in terms of everything on campuses and protests and all this stuff, it's like Jerry Seinfeld said, yes, sir, because screaming at a comedy show in Los Angeles is going to solve the conflict. They know it's not going to solve the conflict, folks. There's a spiritual malfunction. You get it? And the reason it's never been worse is because, folks, this is per Rabbi Kessin, because evil is dying, and as evil dies, it fights. It's fighting. It knows it's about to be eradicated. On top of that, society has gotten to a point where, folks, the Torah doesn't mean anything to anybody anymore. Unless you're an evangelical Christian, or an Orthodox Jew, or maybe a traditional Jew. Let's say, I'm talking about just in the Western world, right? Unless you're any of those groups that I just mentioned, Let's say, go to any place in Europe, folks. Does the Torah mean anything to anybody? Or the quote-unquote Old Testament? People yak about Yoshka, JC, all the time. Even if you are a person who walks around and is upset at the Jews for killing JC. JC was a Jew. Where did he live? Not that I'm a fan. We're talking about just history here, not even religion. Folks, I mean, yeah, but you're not the same Jews as it. Folks, they know we're the same Jews as we always were. They know that we're the same people. They know. But, you know, we're getting closer and closer to the Geulah. We're approaching, 0 hour, as we say. It's getting closer and closer and closer. And it's closer to the death of evil. And it's closer to the death of the Sitra Achra and the Yetzer Hara. And it's going to fight. It's going to keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And it's going to seem like it's going to fight harder and harder. Right? That's what you're looking at, guys. Everybody's so shocked. Again, we're watching the video of this Red Cross lady. We're watching the campuses. Some of you may say, Tzvi, why are you looking at that stuff? Why are we, folks, you gotta, what we just experienced is nothing up until now. It's just a preview of upcoming attractions, guys. I don't know if you realize that. What we just experienced is nothing. And all of your friends, all of our friends and family who are, supposedly pro-Israel, I love the Jews and love Israel, but, who are, let's put it this way, they support certain parties or politicians. If they haven't woken up by now, Hashem is going to make them wake up the hard way. Because I see a lot of them are a little bit in fantasy land. Again, it's not even about who you vote for. It's about what you espouse. They're in fantasy land, still. And, as we know from Jewish history, the only way Jews wake up from fantasy land is I don't want to say here. I hope it doesn't happen again, But yeah, guys, I mean, this is a totally spiritual situation. Everything you see physical is just a manifestation. The Red Cross lady and the campus stuff and people screaming at, I don't know, Jerry Seinfeld or arguing on stage against pro-Israel people, spreading lies, just straight up lies, like shameless lies. Because they know the truth. They know the truth. They know that that evil's days are numbered. Evil knows its days are numbered. But again, we Jews, we ourselves forgot about the Torah. We forgot about who we are. We forgot about our own history. And so, because we forgot, we treat everything like a joke. If you look at what Hollywood has done to Jewish culture, how it treats Jewish culture and Jews and the Torah, at best we became what's called bar mitzvah Jews, you know what I mean? Bar mitzvah and delicatessen Jews. And so the world's going to follow suit, guys. In a way, at least this whole situation caused many, many of us to remember who we are, to start reconnecting. This is what Hashem one of the ways Hashem gets, gets us to do that. He wakes us up. Again, there's good in everything, This is not all bad situation. It'd be all bad if this happened and nobody woke up, right? But you see, guys, I was watching a video from this guy. He was like, on Instagram again, one of these influencer guys. He's pro-Israel, and he goes, before October 7th, I didn't really care. All I cared about was partying. All I cared about was dating and this and that. He goes, listen, I can't say my life was meaningless, but I didn't really care. I think the guy's a convert, and he just had a Brit Milah at the age of 28. God bless the guy. And he's like, and now I woke up. I remembered who I am. Guys, before the Geulah, Hashem has to figure out who's with him and who's not. Right? It's becoming so clear. It's never been clearer. It really has never been clearer, guys. If you can't see who's with Hashem, again, it's not even about Republican, Democrat, left wing, right wing. It's interesting. I don't want to say too much, but let's just put it this way. There's a process going on right now in a certain political party, and there's meetings going on within the apparatus, and certain people are there's a bunch. Everybody's pro-Israel, right? But certain people are pro one candidate, and certain people are pro another, and it's like this kind of game, right? So it's been explained to me that the game continues, right? But at the same time, I don't know what it is. I have a feeling that the people who are pro-Israel are now realizing, wait a minute, we can't play this game anymore. We can't play this, what's called uniparty game anymore. That's as much as I'll say. Guys, I'll say one last thing. I'll quit rambling. I was watching another video today of I think it was the father or the brother of one of the soldiers who died a couple days ago in Gaza. Goodness gracious. Just 1 second. One of the combat engineers whose I guess their vehicle blew up. Hey, there you go. The melting pot country. So, one of the combat engineers, last name is Zimbalist. Sorry guys, I'm getting a reminder of Israel. How everybody screams in their phones. You have to hear their conversations. Hilarious. And just keep walking and screaming. It's great. So it was a relative of this soldier, Zimbalist. And he was saying how, he goes, guys, I just want to tell you what you don't realize is that, and I'm just paraphrasing, we're coming up on the crescendo of Jewish history. Something we haven't seen in 2,000 years. An opportunity we haven't had in 2,000 years. since the time of King David, since the time of David HaMelech. And there's all these things happening, and it just seems like people are not realizing that they're happening. They're still talking about like, oh, I can't live in Israel because it's this and it's that. Speaking of Israel, guys, check this out. Eretz Tzvi. Where is he? Oh, look at him. Very cute. It's Tzvi. Tzvi filming a Tzvi. Looking at a Tzvi. Hello. Alright. Tzvi. 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 So, speaking of Israel. Crazy, huh? Anyway, guys. So, he was saying that a lot of people, or I'm saying, a lot of people have a lot of excuses why they can't live in Israel, and why it's hard, and why it's better here, and why it's easier here, and why it's easier there, and why it's harder there, and how, you know, the security issue, and dangerous, and this and that, as if it's not dangerous here, guys. America and Canada and Europe, I mean, it's just, everybody's living in illusions. And he says, you know, guys, you can come here to Israel and participate in Jewish history. You can be partners with Hashem. You can have the merit, the zchut, to be partners with Hashem. That's what he said. This is a person who lost his relative in Gaza, 2 days ago. And guys, I said this on Shavuot to some friends in Brooklyn. I said, guys, and it was a shul that, even though the rabbi is Chabad, they say the prayer for the state of Israel and the army, and I said, guys, given that you guys say a prayer here for the state of Israel and the army, I'm going to take liberties in saying this. I just want to say that, we have a tremendous opportunity, and I think that people, I gave everybody a bracha. I said, if it comes into your mind that you have to get up and go to Israel, not tomorrow, not in a week, not in 6 months, maybe not even in a year, but at some point, just do so because it's a mitzvah to live in Israel, because of the Torah, because of Jewish history, because you want to be in the land, because you can do all these mitzvot. And I was mentioning the Torah and how, there's so many mitzvot that are just not available outside the land of Israel, that are available for the first time in 2,000 years. That's what I said. So I said, a lot of people are talking about threats and running away, and I mentioned how I have some friends who are trying to get people to make Aliyah. They had an Aliyah conference talking about all the danger. Folks, I don't know if you know from Jewish history, there's a lot of people who danger, did in fact inspire to move, or it got them to mobilize, right? A lot of Jews who feel danger, they mobilize, right? I'm one of these people, right? Probably. and other people are like, you're being an alarmist, right? Folks, I need only go back 80 years, and I don't have to tell you, right? Everybody thought their one relative was crazy, or friend. Everybody thought that guy was crazy. Well, that girl, Rabbi Anava, he tells the story of his grandmother, 1937. All her friends and family thought she was insane. She went to Israel from Germany. They thought she was bat poop insane. 1937, a year after the 36 Olympics. Guys, 37. Well, folks, hindsight's 2020, right? Who is wise? The person who can think a few steps ahead. So, not everybody, I was just going to say, not everybody mobilizes based on fear or physical threat. Some people, actually in my case, I made aliyah. Why? Because of the Torah. So I wanted to be in Israel. I wanted to feel the energy of the land and tap into the Torah and, and Hashem and Jewish history and all these things. And I wish for everybody to move to Israel because of that. To realize, yes, we are at the crescendo of Jewish history, of human history, really. That everything we are seeing is in fact spiritual. Just manifesting on this crazy level with these crazy images we're seeing in front of us. People walking into a subway screaming out, "Is there any Zionists here?" Folks, you saw that video, right? What would you do if you were on that subway car? Would you raise your hand? Raise your hand if you're a Zionist. Okay, there's no Zionists on this train. Folks, this is insane. Something out of a movie. You understand? It has to be spiritual. Must be. Must be, must be, must be, must be. Anyway, guys. And now we're coming up on this whole Hezbollah thing and Lebanon thing. And even, I think there's Arab communities up north in northern Israel that are preparing their own communities for, lots of burials, let's put it that way. Because they know what's coming. They speak to Arabs in Lebanon. They all communicate, guys. I don't know if you know that. I mentioned this morning that, we have these guys in the Knesset, and it's like a fifth column. I mean, it's more than a fifth column. If we only realize what kind of a fifth column it is, we'd literally lose our minds. We would never allow any one of them to be in the Knesset ever again. We would ban every party. Instead of banning, Rebecca Hanna's party from running the Knesset, we ban the people that actually want to harm us. All those countries around us that want us dead, that want us swimming in the sea. And what do? We put 10 individuals or 10 or 15 individuals in our own parliament from that same group of people. Folks, I mean, you must be nuts. But again, back to the spiritual thing. The Supreme Court dismantles Jewish homes in the cradle of Jewish civilization. The Israeli Supreme Court. Spiritual. The media. Goes against religion. Spiritual. The media in Israel, I mean. Folks, think about this. I'm going to end with this. Me and Frank spoke yesterday about how Orthodox Jews who would best represent the Torah and Judaism never get airtime on mainstream television in America. We spoke about it yesterday. What happens this morning? The so-called, what is he, a classical liberal, Glenn Greenwald. Who does he invite? He invites the biggest meshuganas in the world. The rabbis of Neturei Karta, the anti-Zionist, not only anti-Zionist, anti the state of Israel, pro-Fakistan rabbis who visit the Ayatollah of Iran, the Ayatollah of rock and roll. So, friends, this guy's from New York, this Glenn Greenwald. You think he's never met an Orthodox Jew in his life? So what does he do? He goes out of his way to invite these rabbis who wear keffiyehs and, the Islamic flag. or the flag actually, that was designed by Mark Sykes of the Sykes-Picot Agreement. Folks, this entire production produced by Hashem is a spiritual production. Nothing more. Nothing less. But it's playing out in what we see in front of us. And the question is, guys, do you want to be a player or do you want to be a spectator? That's it. That's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, guys. All right. Laila Tov.